We are 95% done with this van build, but we are going back in time and we're going to show you how we installed this massive skylight here. We are so stoked to how this turned out. It's a bit of a how-to video, so if you guys are interested in how to do it yourself, this video is going to be perfect for you. Before we get into the fun part of installing our skylight, let's run through the tools you're going to need to get this job done. Obviously, you're going to need the skylight. We've gone for a ginormous one. I think it's going to give us so much light, so we went the big one. You're going to need some tape to protect the top of your roof, so when you're cutting, obviously a marker. We're going for a 221 Sikaflex to seal everything up. Jigsaw to cut your roof. We got a drill, so to drill a pilot hole up for the jigsaw to fit in, and also as a reference point for when you're on the top, you can kind of see where you're going to go. Because once you get up there, it gets a bit difficult to find where you are in the van. Obviously a tape measure, super important. Measure 10 times, cut once. Here's some butyl tape to go on the seal of the skylight, and this will help with not getting any water in there, plus the Sikaflex, and you should be good. You will also need some timber. We're going to make a timber frame around this to clamp the skylight down. We decided to go for is a 42 by 30 mil. Should be more than enough. It gives it enough meat to pinch down onto it. And you're obviously going to need a tool to cut this to length. So we've gone for just a normal drop saw. You could use a jigsaw. You could use a circular saw. So that is everything you're going to need. Let's get started with step number one. So what I've done is I've measured our skylight, got the overall dimensions, and the first thing that we need to do is find the middle of our van. It's quite easy to do in our van, because we've got a couple of markings that kind of dictate of where the middle is. But one way to find out would be, we measure the whole length coming in at 1380, divide by 2, you get the middle. So now that we have the middle of the van, we need to know the overall size of our skylight. So I'm going from edge to edge, so the cutout size, which is from this side to the other side, I'm getting 955. So for 955 divided by 2, so I want to know the halfway point. So that comes in at 47750. So I'm going to get 47750 from our halfway point, and then mark it this way to find, this will be the one edge, and then from the halfway point, 47750 coming back the other way, and then this is going to be the other edge. So now I know that I'm in the middle of the van. Now that we have our sides and the middle, we need to figure out how far deep, how far into the van we need to go. We are getting from the outside edge to the outside edge 650. 650 from our outside point here in.
The outside point is what you measured before.
Correct, so from this side, don't mind the markings, this is why it's important to measure 10 times and only cut once, so that we can double check everything. There's a few markings and just cross out the ones that don't mean anything so you don't get confused. We go from that point 650 in, and you'll make another mark, and this is how far in it's going to be on the inside here.
We just realized that we were making the template square, but the corners are not square.
Yeah. So I've got this like tool here that will measure the circumference.
Circumference, no.
The round here. I'm going to transfer this to some cardboard, and then when we go up to cut, I'll put it on, and then we can get a perfectly nice cut, and she should just slide right in. Easy peasy. Put it on some cardboard. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep double checking measurements as we're cutting. Keep checking.
And we're cutting smaller than the real measures are.
Yeah, I would prefer to cut more later. You can't put it back if you take it off. So let's do it. Let's start doing some pilot holes. I'll jump up there and we'll jigsaw back.
Oh gosh.
We're in. We've committed to this skylight. So what I'm doing as well is I'm drilling just inside the line, so that if I want to put a bigger drill bit in, I have a bit of space, a little bit of room to play with. Because it will need a bigger drill bit to put the jigsaw blade in there. We're also going to need something to get up onto the roof. Thankfully, we're in this warehouse with all of these tools around. So we're going to grab a ladder, let's jump up on the roof and play a little bit.
Before we start making holes, we need to tape this bad boy up, because why is there again?
You want to catch all the little metal filings. You don't want them to fall in any cracks or anything like that and start causing you problems. If it starts rusting, and then like a year down the track you end up with a hole, and So always catch up, clean up as much of the loose filings, the metal filings as you can. So we're going to throw this, tape it all the way around, and catch like a good 90% of it. Let's do it.
Yoo-hoo!
We're out. Hold the weight.
Pretty close, pretty close.
So we have the skylight in, we just need to probably trim just a little bit more, file it, and then we're going to get the primer on the edges that we've cut. But we're going to call it a night tonight. I've had enough, it's about 9 o'clock.
We can't make any more noises even if we wanted to.
Yeah, it's probably better to sleep on it and do it on a fresh mind, fresh body.
I agree.
Good
night.
This thing is ginormous. Is it too big?
No.
No? What have we got here?
Kappa.
This is your job today?
Keep you fed.
Make sure I'm fed, hydrated, and we are good to go. Nice work, Boots.
I know, right? Safety first.
We are back at it today. I have just primed all of the exposed metal up there. Just gonna let that dry now for the next few hours. But what I'm gonna work on is getting this frame done here. So I have 2 sticks of this. We're gonna measure up, get a perfect square going on, and then we're gonna bang it up on top of here. Then we can squish it down, and we are gonna be good to go. Have a brand new skylight in. Okay, this is pretty much going to be our frame. I have it just kind of roughly in there. And what I've done, I don't know if you're going to see it, but I've just marked it 1, 1. And for example, this side 2, 2. So I know which one goes kind of where. So I have put my frame together, made sure that it was all square. I'm just going to test it out to see if it fits over our skylight. It should. This is how the system works. The skylight comes with these frames, these brackets. You're gonna put these in. 1 screw in here, and then it pinches it down. And you continue on. We have our timber frame on, all clamped up. We're gonna go grab some lunch now, leave this for the next few hours, and then we come back. Are you still here?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Waiting for you to finish.
Oh, I think someone's hungry. Let's go get some food, come back, slap in the light, and we slap in the skylight. And we're back. Lunch went on for a little bit longer than expected. It was almost 5 o'clock. But we do need to get this skylight in and glued by the end of today, because tomorrow all of the guys are back here in the workshop, and I need to get the van outside and into the street for the rest of the week. Then I won't be able to come back in until next weekend inside here. So I need to get this all sealed up in case it's gonna rain or anything like that. But let's get. Oh, I did actually, on while we're out, I grabbed some stuff from Bunnings. We did this on our last van as well. So it's like it's a PVC type foam to fill in the gap, because you've got the ridges on top of the roof. The skylight doesn't sit flush, so I'm going to use this to fill in the gaps to help seal that, and then obviously we'll use Sikaflex or like a weather sealant all the way around it. So let's get started. What I'm going to do now is use this foam to fill in these gaps where it's risen up, and also we have some butyl tape which will help with the sealing. This plus the Sikaflex, we shouldn't have any water leaks. So this is what it is. It's foam with some double-sided tape on there, so we're just going to bang that bad boy on. So what I've decided to do is put on the butyl tape first over this whole area here, and then on the parts that I need to build up, I'm going to use this foam, and then we're going to squish everything down on the skylight as well. I'll also put some butyl tape, and then we got Sikaflex all the way around it, and we'll seal it up. So now that we have the foam and the butyl tape up the top there, I'm just grabbing the silicone and running a bead, and just running a thick bead along here. And then when we put it up, this will seal down, and then I'll run another silicone on top of the roof to clean and tidy that edge up. And then that's a wrap. So you can see here where the rubber seal has squished down and kind of filled in that gap. Now for the final step, we are just taping around here, and then going to run a bead of Sikaflex all the way in through here, and then once it kind of dries a little bit, we're going to lift up this tape and it's going to give us a nice clean finish and look very professional. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Because you're doing it.
Look at your work clothes. You in your pajamas? Now you've probably seen this trick a million times on YouTube already, but to not let the Sikaflex stick to your finger, you just use normal dishwashing soap. Put it on your finger, so you just get your finger on there and then you can rub it on and then the Sikaflex will not stick to your finger. It's now been a few days since we've installed the Skylight. All of the glue has dried and I want to test to see if it is waterproof. But this is kind of what we've got so far. Super nice, look at that. I'm seeing it already. Beautiful sunrise, sunsets, lying in bed, looking at the stars. I like this. This is definitely an addition when we built our first van that after maybe like 6 months, we're like, man, wish we had a Skylight. There's just so much extra light coming in here now just from that Skylight. But what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna grab the hose, get up on the roof, hose it down, and get Dani to come in here and make sure, let's see if she's waterproof. Fingers crossed, there are no water leaks. Oh, thank you.
Water comes in when you open.
Only water when we open, huh?
Yeah.
No more water.
Doesn't look like it, Wade.
Ooh, I like it, Dani's here.
Well, we can't open this
After
if there's
rain.
water.
Yeah, of course. I just can't wait till the bed goes in there so we can use it.
And then we go camping just because.
Yeah.
Ow.
So we put this shroud on here just real quick to show you guys what it's going to look like. It's not perfect because I've got some the beams there, so I've got to wait for the actual finishing of the roof to then level it up. But this is kind of the idea, and then these pieces just cover in all of those points here. But this is cool, then, isn't it? Very cool. So you've got a fly screen on this side, and then you've got the block out during night if you want to block it. You have a block out on this. So if you're thinking about installing a Skylight in your van, I highly recommend it. So far, I'm very, very impressed with this.
You can go for the big one.
Go for a big one. If you can fit it in and it's in your budget, go for a big one. We'd also like to thank the guys from My Generator for helping us with this Skylight, getting this to us in time, starting for this build. I am so happy with how this has turned out. I don't think it could have been any better.
No, it's perfect.
I'm so glad we decided to put a Skylight in
And a
this
big
time.
one.
And a big one. Because when it first arrived, I was like, oh, this thing's pretty big. That is it. See you guys next week.